of October, when we still had 33 billion US dollars, but we are against the capital control they are suggesting. We want a capital control, but not the way they are suggesting.
Also in Beirut is Sami Zoughaib, an economist at the Policy Initiative. Welcome to the program, Sami. Listen, just give us a personal perspective first of all. How much money are you allowed to withdraw from your bank in Beirut?
None of it, to be honest. The only withdrawal that you can do from the banking account that you had prior to 2019 is in the Lebanese pound at a very, very bad exchange rate. So the exchange rate today in the parallel market, which reflects the real value of the currency, trades at around 100,000 Lebanese pound to the dollar. But if you were to go withdraw your money from the bank, you would get it at a much, much lower rate, less than half of that. So essentially, you would be losing half of your money if you withdraw any. And this has been the case since the very onset of the crisis.
The World Happiness Index report of this year put Lebanon amongst the 5 saddest countries in the world. How are people getting by? How are they living?
I mean, people are getting by essentially due to a large volume of remittances that flows into the country that reaches around 15 to 20% of the population. The rest is very much living off of the subsistence and the assistance that they are receiving from solidarity networks, from established networks of political parties, clientelistic networks, religious networks in churches and mosques. So it's really just a mix of many different patchworky, temporary, unsustainable schemes that people have to resort to in order to get by. However, if one comes to Lebanon, you would likely see a relatively stable country, but this does not mean that the suffering is not really taking place. Many tourists that came to Lebanon this year said that the country looked good, that people were in restaurants, the restaurants were full, but it really only takes a very small portion of society to give a semblance of normalcy. But we are sure through the data that the overwhelming majority of the population is really living in absolute misery.
Yeah, so that's the human angle. And we've had, of course, stories of people entering banks with weapons and demanding that they are allowed to take their own money out. Sometimes people have said, I have a relative that I need to pay for an operation in a foreign country. I can't do that if you don't give me my money. We've seen banks being attacked as well. So that's the human side. As an economist, does the fact that these capital controls exist and they may become even more severe, is it actually helping to keep the government and the nation afloat in terms of the economy?
No, absolutely not, because these capital controls only exist on the bank accounts that existed in the banking sector prior to 2019, and these are the bank accounts that the banking sector itself deposited in the central bank, and the central bank was unable to repay any of this money back, and hence this money was essentially lost. And we are talking about a scale of around $70 billion, right? So this is 3-4 times the size of the Lebanese economy. So in this sense, the capital controls that were put into place were only put into place in order to justify the theft of this money that was deposited. However, now they have a new concept called fresh money. And this is essentially money that is deposited in the banking sector after 2019, after October 2019, and that money does not have any capital controls whatsoever, right? So in a way, the current capital control law that was being proposed in government was to give a legal justification or a legal institutionalized solution for the banking sector and the financial elite in Lebanon to justify their theft. In the law itself, it says that any case that any person has against the banking sector here in Lebanon should not be pursued, including lawsuits that were activated prior to the law. So in a way, this is just a justification, a legalization of the theft itself, and has absolutely no economic basis.
Sami, thanks so much for talking to us. Sami Zoughaib in Beirut.